I have here www.msn.com, empathy, Funky, Fossey, and saying that we do not put dates on when the virus is going to leave us so we can get back to normal living every day. Fossey said, you got to be realistic. That's what he said that's what he told CE and Chris Cuomo on prime time. I think Chris Cuomo is a brother to Andrew. I'm not certain, but I think he does look like him a little bit. And you got to understand that you don't make the timeline. The virus makes the timeline. So you got to respond in what you see happen. And if you keep seeing this acceleration, it doesn't matter what you say. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you got to go with what the situation on the ground is. Okay. I just want to get that across that Donald Trump has set Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday is the day that we open up the businesses in the church, that we all can gather together and we can worship God. Then the stores will open, then the restaurants will open. What happens is this SARS2 virus, which is named Corona novel virus 19, is going to accelerate. It's going to increase the amount of cases coming into the hospitals, makeshift hospitals, and that means a demanding of more ventilators, more respirators. This is going to just add on to what is going on right now. Now, I am going to switch over to Biosafety Laboratory article on Wikimedia. Now, this is my theory, my scenario, what is really taking place there at the Biosafety Laboratory. Now, level 1 and level 2 are safe. They are safe. Level 1 is Biosafety Level 1 is suitable for work with well-characterized agents which do not cause diseases in healthy humans. In general, these agents should pose minimal potential hazard to laboratory personnel in the environment. This is level 1. Level 2. At this level, all precautions used at biosafety level 1 are followed, and some additional precautions are taken at biosafety level 2, differ from biosafety level 1 in that. You can pause this video here and read what these are. Now, let's get to this one here. Let's get to it. Biosafety level 3 is appropriate for work involving microbes, which can cause serious and potentially lethal disease via the inhalation route. This type of work can be done in clinical, diagnostic, teaching, research, or production facilities. Here, okay, now you can start the video and you can read this here, okay? Now, this one here is training. It's training a person to be a biochemist in the biosafety level 3 lab. Now, here is my suspicions. It does not mean I have the evidence or the facts or the proof. But this is my theory, my suspicions, that Terroist is training in these facilities. They are training in the bio level 3 and 4 to develop viruses that is lethal and fatal, to be purposely sent out into the environment outside the biosafety laboratory facility. Terrorists, I do believe, is spreading this disease global wise. I believe that. It's not that I have proof or evidence or facts that this is a terrorist attack on the global nations around the world. But I would like to see the government do an investigation in the laboratory that does these creation of lethal fatal diseases, and to see what students or what personnel that are working in these labs, to investigate them and to have them under surveillance, and to and if it is true what I suspect it to be, terrorists, then they will find them and take them into custody and put them on trial, on the tribunal, and be executed. We execute them. We kill them. We don't need this kind of fear and threats on everybody on this planet. Now, here is what I think, what these terrorists, if I'm right, if my suspicion is right. Okay, they say that the bats and the pangolin is the cause of spreading the Sar2, which is Corona-19 novel. That, I think what they do is they go out and get these animals and bring them into the biosafety lab level 4 and level 3, and infect them with the SARS-2, with Corona-19, which is SARS-2, and then take them out into the wild and let them go. Then, Chinese, they like to eat wild animals over there. They catch these animals. They eat bats, I think, or they eat the pangolin. Well, there are poachers over there, and I think if I heard right that it's a law against catching these wild animals in Red China or China. Well, somehow these animals that are infected that came out of the Bio4 level lab, the terrorist has done it, you know. Now, this is my theory. I have no facts, no proof or evidence. This is my suspicion, what is going on. These animals have been purposely, in my mind, been infected with Sar2. They create this virus in the level 4 lab, which is seamless. Now, I have a feeling that the government is holding something back from us. They're not telling us the whole truth. They're being dishonest with the Americans. They're not really telling us what really is causing this viral. We're all speculating, guessing. Now, what they do before they go into the chamber, to the cabinet, which is stainless steel, and there's no seams in the lab. Okay, well, let's go back to biosafety level 3. Now, biosafety level 3 is appropriate to work involving microbes which cause serious and potentially lethal diseases via the inhalation route. This type of work can be done in clinical, diagnostic, teaching, research, or production facilities. Okay, here the precautions undertaken in BSL 1, which is biosafety level 1, and biosafety level 2. Labs are followed, as well as additional measures including all laboratory personnel are providing medical surveillance and offer relevant immunization where available to reduce the risk of an accidental or unnoticed infection. Now that could be a scenario too. Maybe they came out of the bio safety lab not knowing that they had been infected. Maybe when they are suited up in the air pressure suit and the shield and the hats and the mask and the gloves, maybe they are infected and it's a unnoticed infection. Then they go out into the world. I don't know how they can go out without having some kind of test being done on them to make sure that they weren't infected by these diseases that they create in their lab. Okay, laboratory personnel must wear solid front protective clothing, gowns that tie in the back. This cannot be worn outside of the laboratory and it must be discarded or discontaminated after each use. A laboratory-specific biosafety manual must be drafted which details how the laboratory will operate in compliance with all safety requirements. In addition, the facility which housed the BSL 3 laboratory must have certain features and ensure appropriate containment. The entrance to the laboratory must be separated from areas of the building with unrestricted traffic flow. Additionally, the laboratory must be behind the two sets of self-closing doors to reduce the risk of aerosol escaping. Okay, now let's go to this separation and isolation that we're in. Now, doesn't that seem suspicious to you? Why they have us in isolation? Why we shouldn't be together? Why we had to wear masks? Why they had to be suited up themselves? The medical fields? That is because they know it's coming from the bio safety lab. This is the same procedure that the bio safety lab is using that they are telling us to do. Okay? All right. The construction of the laboratory is such that it can be easily cleaned. Carpets are not permitted, and any seams in the floors, walls, and ceilings are sealed to allow for easy cleaning and discontamination. Okay. You can read this here. All right. Now, biosafety level 4 is the highest level of biosafety precaution and is appropriate for work with agents that can easily be aerosol transmitted within the laboratory and cause severe to fatal disease in humans for which there are no available vaccine or treatment. Now, isn't this Corona-19 that there isn't any vaccine? Isn't this what tells everybody and tells me in suspicion that this viral Corona-19 Sars2 comes from the biosafety lab? And like I said at the beginning of this video, that I suspect there's terrorists being trained to be biochemists in these biosafety lab facility. Now, in cabinet, okay, where did I leave off? Laboratories are generally set up to be either cabinet laboratories or protected suit laboratories. In cabinet laboratories, all work must be done within Class 3 biosafety cabinet. Materials leaving the cabinet must be discontaminated by passing through an autoclave or a tank of disinfectant. The cabinets themselves are required to have seamless edges to allow for easy cleaning. Additionally, the cabinet and all materials within must be free of sharp edges in order to reduce the risk of damage to the gloves. In a protected suit laboratory, all work must be done in a Class 2 biosafety cabinet by personnel wearing a positive pressure suit, as you can see here. The positive pressure personnel suit, or positive pressure protection suit, informally known as space suits, moon suits, blue suits, are highly specialized, totally escapulating industrial protected garments worn only within special. Okay. In order to exit the BLS, biosafety level 4 laboratory, personnel must pass through a chemical shower for discontamination, and then the room for removing the positive pressure suit, followed by a personal shower. Entry into the BSL 4 laboratory is restricted to trained and authorized individuals, and all persons entering and exiting the laboratory must be recorded. Now, as you can see the pictures on the news here, on the internet, and on the television, you see these nurses and doctors all suited up. They got gowns on, they got their caps on, they got their face shield, they got their face mask, they got their gloves, and they are treating people with coronavirus. They're doing the same method as what the biosafety lab is doing. Does this tell you something? Really, does this tell you something? Does this tell you that this viral corona-19 is created in these labs, in these biosafety labs? Okay. Now here is the pressure. They are examined. A regular inspection of positive pressure suit to locate any leaks. Spec. Machines at biosafety level 4 imaging facility that separate subjects with pathogen from the machines. To circulate contaminant tube separate from the patient table in the hot zone. Pathogen present from the cold zone around the MIR machine. Air pressure resistant door to separate the hot and cold zones. Working inside the biosafety level 4 lab with air hoses providing positive air pressure. You see, the ICU using these ventilators and these respirators. And these people, the doctors and the nurses, they are wearing these suits for their own protection, just to keep themselves from contracting the Sar2 corona-19 virus. Now, my theory, I am hoping that the FBI will investigate the biosafety labs to find the person who is responsible for spreading this virus global-wise around the world and killing millions of people. It's going to be 1 million people by the time I think this whole thing is over with. Now, we're going to be following the guidelines that President Trump has made out. President Trump is getting impatient. I think he feels guilty that he has shut down the country. President Trump should not feel guilty. He should feel like he is doing a favor and helping us Americans from contracting the corona-19 virus. And we should follow that guideline. Now, he has set a date for the virus to go away. That he thinks the virus is going to be gone on Easter Sunday. That we can all come back together and associate with one another. We should open up businesses. We should do this. We should do that. But as Anthony Fauci told Trish Cuomo, I do believe it's relation to Andrew Cuomo, this. And you've got to understand that you don't make the timeline. The virus makes the timeline. So you got to respond in what you see happen. And if you keep seeing this acceleration, it doesn't matter what you say. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you have got to go with the situation on the ground. I like this guy because he's an expert in infections and disease. He is an expert. And we must listen to him. And of course, Donald Trump, he adds his own thing, and he's in this fantasy world where there's narcissistic disorder that he has. He's in this fantasy land, and he fantasized on Easter Sunday that this virus is disappeared, and there's no more coronavirus. He's deceiving himself, and he is deceiving us into thinking that. We know better to believe that. We know it takes time for a fatal, serious virus that is spreading the globe. We know better to believe that. We know better. If we believe Donald Trump and we all go to church on Sundays and all the businesses are open, and chances are that virus is still there and activated up to 72 hours on different surfaces, it's going to attack us, and we're going to get the corona. Now, I am going to do a video on both channels. I'm going to do one here on Wood Education Blog 43, and the other channel, the Bible Study Lesson 1. I am going to do a Bible study on God created evil. I'm going to find the scriptures in the Bible, and we're going to talk about it in the God perspective as to why this virus is spreading around the world. So, I do not have the video up yet. I haven't made it yet, but I will let you know when it will be up here on YouTube by you hitting that notification bell. Okay? Now, if you subscribe to my channel, which I will appreciate that, and if you would hit that notification bell, I will appreciate that too. So I want to thank you all for watching the Wood Education Blog 43, and I will see you here the next time on YouTube and the World Wide Web.